All right, we should be live now. What's up, guys? Here to talk about the NBA slate on Wednesday. 9 games. It's a nice little slate, so let's jump right into it. Sorry about not streaming last night. Again, I was at the Bulls game, so was not able to. Yeah, let's jump into this game tonight. Again, it's a pretty good slate. So we'll start with what we know so far. Not huge news. Ntilikina out because Alfred Payton is playing, so obviously DSJ is not in play. Trae Young was questionable at the beginning of the day. Looks like he's going to be good to go, though. Sarge is starting for Kelly Oubre. He's up there as one of the better value plays, like the really, really cheap value. Jakob Poeltl, Bismack Biyombo, Dario Saric. I think you could play all three, but I think you get two of those three guys in your lineup for tonight. Drummond out. That's pretty big news. We have Tristan Thompson will start for Andre Drummond. It makes it a little bit tricky to get to Tristan Thompson just because there's two really good center values with Poeltl, with Bismack Biyombo. So I do have some interest in Tristan Thompson. I think he is probably my third favorite center, though, behind those two really cheap options. Let's see. Jimmy Butler available to play. Wilson Chandler ruled out. I mean, he was playing decent minutes, so I've heard. We'll talk about the Nets here in a bit, but that could open up some value there. Shabazz is starting ahead of Ish Smith. I have a good amount of interest in Shabazz Napier. He's a pretty productive guy when he gets some minutes. It's a good matchup. He's starting. He should get 28 to 30 minutes. So I do like Shabazz a good amount. Again, Biyombo starting ahead of Cody Zeller. I also retweeted something that looks like Cody Zeller's not going to be available. So we probably get, 20 to 25 minutes from Biyombo. We know the Knicks run big. I like Biyombo a lot as a value play. Again, him, Saric, Jakob Poeltl, I think really stand out in the slate. You can play all three. I would probably at least get two of those guys in my lineup. Let's see. Dedmon ruled out. Bruno Fernando starting for Dedmon. I made a tweet about it. I don't think we have to go there. I just much prefer Poeltl. I much prefer Saric. I much prefer Bismack Biyombo. So don't think we have to go with Bruno Fernando there. And that really does it. Let's take a look at some numbers here. The Nets-Wizards game sitting at 234 over under a 1.5 point spread. I really like this game to stack. On the Wizards side, I like Beal. I like Shabazz Napier. On the Nets side, I like Dinwiddie. I like LeVert. This is probably my favorite game stack for GPPs right now. Knicks Hornets sitting at 207.5. The Knicks favored by 2. 76ers Cavs sitting at 216.5. The 76ers are 8-point favorites. Minnesota Miami 234.5. Miami are 12-point favorites. A little bit of blowout rest there. Orlando Atlanta 229.5. The Magic are 2.5-point favorites. The Grizzlies and Rockets is 237.5. The Rockets are 11.5-point favorites. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about Harden. A lot of people talk about Westbrook. I definitely like both those guys. I just have no confidence Memphis keeps it close. So I'm going to go a different direction. I think Westbrook and Harden both can be pretty popular. I'm not going there tonight. I think this game blows out. So I'm going to look elsewhere. Dallas, San Antonio, this is the game I want a lot of exposure to. 233.5 over under. The Mavs are 5.5-point favorites. So that game and the Brooklyn-Washington game are the two games I'm eyeing the most for the slate. We'll talk about it a bit more, but no DeMar DeRozan, no LaMarcus Aldridge. You gotta like DeMar DeRozan. You gotta like Jakob Poeltl. You gotta like Luka on the other side, who I think is probably the top spend up. The Clippers Suns. This is a game where I could see a couple of those Suns guys being in a GBP winning lineup. Guys like Booker, guys like DeAndre Ayton, even a guy like Dario Saric. Saric is obviously really cheap. And then no Kelly Oubre, Ayton, and Booker are going to have to do a lot offensively, and those guys do have upside. And the late night hammer, not so much of a late night hammer for me. I will be completely fading this one. 218 over under. The Jazz are 5-point favorites. Let's see if we got any more info on Fantasy Lab, and then we can get to the team-by-team breakdown. Let's see. Knicks are starting Peyton, Barrett, Harkless, Randall, and Gibson. Thabo Cephalosha ruled out. Not really a big deal there. All right. Let's start with the first game. That's Brooklyn-Washington. Again, I have a good amount of interest in this game. A 234.5 over under. Two teams that play at a fast pace. They don't play a whole lot of defense. A lot of guys are pretty fairly priced. So right now, this game and the San Antonio-Dallas game are my two favorite games. I like Dinwiddie. I like LeVert a good amount here. both I don't think are going to be that high owned. From what I expect, I think, the chalk tonight is going to be Luka Doncic, DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and one of Bismack Biyombo or Saric. I think a lot of people are going to get to Westbrook or Harden, and that's where I'm going to slightly differ. I want my exposure in this game. I'm confident this game stays close. You're getting guys at pretty fair price tags. So that's the reason why I'm targeting this game over getting to Harden, getting to Westbrook. I have no confidence Memphis keeps it close in that game on the road with no Triple J, no Brandon Clark. Memphis has not looked good. They're running a deep rotation. So that's why I like this game a lot. Dinwiddie and LeVert are two guys that I'm very, very much considering. Both have huge upside. Both have been carrying the offense with no Kyrie Irving. So yeah, I like both those guys a lot. Everyone else here, so we do have Wilson Chandler out. I thought I'd bring that up. He was playing, low 20s minutes. Those minutes have to go somewhere. A guy like Joe Harris might get a little extra run. A guy like Taurean Prince at 4.6K probably gets a little extra run. He's a little bit more viable. So those two, even a guy like Garrett Temple, as gross as that sounds, maybe picks up a little extra run. Still don't feel great about it, though. I just like the value more with Poeltl. I like the value more with Saric. I like the value more with Biyombo right now. Can one of those wings get you there? Of course. There's more minutes to go around, but I just like the value a little bit more with those other cheap guys that I talked about. DeAndre Jordan, Jarrett Allen. I mean, if you want to take a shot on one of these guys, Jarrett Allen has had 2 back-to-back good games. It's just, they will ride the hot hand here. If he's not playing well, they will go right to DeAndre Jordan. So can't recommend him for cash. Can recommend him for GPPs. I do like him for GPPs. Like him and Tristan Thompson are 2 centers I do like for GPPs. It just makes it a little bit tricky to get to them for cash games. That does it for Brooklyn. Let's talk about Washington. So Washington, I like Beal as a spend up. I just don't think a lot of people are going to go here. Again, I think the flocks are going to go to Harden, go to Westbrook. I don't have an issue there. I just have no confidence that game stays close. I am kind of predicting the blowout there. I don't think Harden and Westbrook get full 4 quarters. So Beal's a guy who's played 39 and 41 minutes in back-to-back games. You have to have interest here. In, again, one of the highest over-unders of the night, 234.5. The Nets are not good defensively. I do like Beal as a spend, but I don't think he's to be that high owned. Now, is Beal a cash game play? He's a fringe cash. You're not going to, obviously, I think Doncic is a safer spend up, but I still have a good amount of interest in Beal. I don't know if I get to Rui or with Bertans back or Mo Wagner. Those guys are kind of out of play. The only other guy I really have interest in is Shabazz Napier, and I do like him a good amount as well. He played big minutes off the bench, played 36, played really well, 47 fancy points. The starting point guard, Ish Smith, had been getting 25-ish to 30 minutes. Where's Ish? He's at 5K. So I think we get about the similar minutes for Shabazz Napier, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, for that reason, I think Shabazz is a really solid play there, 4.7. I like him. I like Beal a good amount. I like Dinwiddie and LeVert on the opposite side. This is a game I like a lot. So that basically wraps up for the first one. Let's move on to New York, Charlotte. Not so much interest in this one. It's just going to be played at such a slow pace. Charlotte is a team I hate seeing on any NBA slate because they're really bad defensively, but they just play at the slowest possible pace. They're averaging, I think, the last 5 games, 90 points a game. It's just terrible. So it affects it affects the opposing team too because they play at such a slow pace. So Alfred Payton coming back hurts everyone else. I'm not getting to Barrett or DSJ, obviously. The only guy I would have slight interest in is Julius Randle, 8.4, but there's other spend-ups I prefer in the slate. So that really does it for New York. Let's talk about Charlotte really quick. Not a team I have a whole lot of interest in. I know Malik Monk is out for violating the drug policy, but they just have so many other guys that can use. I shouldn't say Charlotte's not a team I like because I do like Biyombo at 3.1. He's going to start. We probably get 20 to 25 minutes. And he's basically min-price. Now, as a pivot, you can look to a guy like Guillermo Hernan-Gomez, who is a pretty solid offensive player, not very good defensively, but he has upside. If you want to pivot off of a really chalky Biyombo for GBPs, you can go to Hernan-Gomez. Obviously, Biyombo is the safer option in my opinion, and with no Cody Zeller, again, there's reports he's unlikely to play. I think we probably get at least 20 to 25 minutes from Biyombo, so I really like him as a spend-up. Again, him, Jakob Pertl, and Saric are my three favorite really cheap options. You can play all three if you want to. I would probably get at least two of those guys in my lineup. But I don't really think anything else stands out. Like Devontae Graham coming back at that price, Bridges, Rozier, Washington. I'm just not super interested in this team besides Biyombo. So I think that really does it. Let's see if we got any more news. Then we can move on to the next game. Trae Young available to play. All right. All right. Let's talk about Philly and Cleveland. So this is a game I could see like Embiid going off, but not going to make my lineup just because, again, I really like the cheap centers today. So 10.5, he's in play as contrarian option, but I prefer Doncic at a similar price. I prefer some of the guys in the Brooklyn-Washington game there to Embiid. So Embiid is in play, but only for GPPs for me. I'm not going to get to Tobias Harris at that price or Al Horford. Josh Richardson I have some interest in because he's going to play big minutes, but I don't think we have to go there in the slate. And again, this game could blow out too. Cleveland has been terrible this year, so that really does it for me. I don't have a whole lot of interest in Philly. On the Cleveland side, not a lot of interest besides a guy like Tristan Thompson, and I think you can play McCash, but it makes it a little bit tricky with all those really great value bigs. Now, no Andre Drummond, Tristan Thompson is a guy that is pretty productive. The last four games, 26, 26, 26, and 29 minutes, 47, 35, 25, and 31 fantasy points. So if you don't want to play, one of those cheap centers with Biyombo and Jakob Pertl, I think you go to Tristan Thompson here. He would be my next play. I think you can make the argument for him in cash. The concern is he's going up against Embiid, a tough matchup. There's a chance he could get in some foul trouble. But I do like Thompson a good amount. I think if he stays out of foul trouble, we probably get at least 30 minutes from him. So he is my favorite play there in the Cavs. You could make an argument for Nance, but I think the only real reason I could get there is if Tristan Thompson gets in foul trouble. I don't really want to predict that. So I would prefer getting to Thompson. I don't think I get to anyone else here in Cleveland, really. I don't think we have to do it. So Thompson is really the only guy I have interest in. I do like him a good amount. Again, if he stays out of foul trouble, you could see 30, even 40 plus from Tristan Thompson. Minnesota and Miami. So we got to wait on Bam and Adebayo news. I don't think we've gotten that yet. He is going to be a game-time decision. That will change some things. If Bam can't go, Kelly Olynyk probably starts the center and become one of the better value plays. But let's talk about Minnesota first. So D'Angelo Russell at this price is in play as a contrarian option, but again, I just like at a similar price. Like I would prefer getting to Dinwiddie. I prefer getting to LeVert. I would prefer getting to Beal. So I just like that Brooklyn Washington game more. Beasley is okay in the mid range of 5.9. He's going to play the big minutes. He is a little bit scoring dependent, so that is somewhat of a concern. But I think he is in play. Everyone else, like Naz Reid, James Johnson, or Hernan Gomez, are priced up. I don't want to go there in a bad spot against Miami. I don't think we have to go with any of these value guys. So that basically does it for Minnesota. On the Miami side, again, the big news is Bam Adebayo. We have to keep an eye on this. If he can't go, I would assume they start Kelly O at the 5. I mean, the only other big they really have that would play big minutes, because Myers Leonard's out as well, is probably Chris Silva. So I guess there's an off chance it could start him, and then he would become a viable min-price center. But yeah, Bam can't go. I'd assume we probably get at least 25 minutes from Kelly O. Now, his price is up, so I don't think he would still be like a smash play, but he is a guy that does have upside. Pretty solid offensive play. Okay, right? Like, if Bam does get rolled out, that is a pretty high usage guy out of the offense. It is a really good matchup. Revenge spot, too. So, yeah, Jimmy is more in play, I guess. I wouldn't say I'm off him, but he's not like my priority tonight. I'm not getting to Dragic or Nunn, though, with Jimmy back. The wings, probably not for me. It's just, we got to keep an eye on the status of Bam. If he can't go, then a guy like Kelly O probably becomes a lot more viable. Orlando and Atlanta. Again, Vucevic kind of in the same territory as Embiid. It just makes it tricky in the slate to spend up at center. So he's a contrarian option. It's a great spot, only for GPPs, though. Kind of the same thing to Aaron Gordon. I think you can make the argument for him for cash just because how many minutes he's playing and how good of a matchup it is. So I do have some interest in Aaron Gordon. I think he is fringe cash viable, definitely GPP viable. Other than that, though, I'm not going to get to any of these other fringe Orlando guys like Fournier, Fultz, or Ross. Not for me. So probably my favorite play here is Aaron Gordon, even at an elevated salary, just because of the minutes he's been playing, just because of the matchup. So do like Aaron Gordon a good amount. Vucevic and play for GPPs. On the Atlanta side, I think the only real interest I have here is Trae Young. If you're a guy that wants to target Orlando, you could run a little mini game stack here with like Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, running back with Trae Young. Again, I always like doing that for GPPs because if Atlanta stays in the game, we're probably going to see a big game from Trae Young, and also Atlanta is terrible defensively, so you can always run that little mini game stack. So I do have interest in Trae Young, but only as a GPP option because Orlando is pretty solid defensively. I'm not going to get to John Collins at that price. I know Bruno Fernando starting, but I just prefer the other centers on the slate, the cheap centers with Pirtle, with Biyombo, and with Dario Saric. So that really does it for Atlanta. Let me check really quick, see if we got any more news. Oh, LeBron ruled out for Thursday, so that's going to change some things. Wizards are starting Napier, Beal, Bonga, Rui, and Mahimi. That's kind of expected. Again, we got the news that Shabazz is playing. All right. Let's talk about Memphis and Houston. So this is just like, this is kind of a headache to try to break down Memphis because they have a lot of, even with these injuries, they still have a lot of guys who can use. So Justice Winslow's still out. Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson Jr. are out. John Morant and JV are dart throws for me. I don't have a whole lot of confidence this game stays close. If it does, though, we probably see a big game from John Morant or JV. Houston runs really small. I think there's a good chance JV gets limited. Even Gorgie Jang, I don't know if he plays a full complement of minutes. I think they could run a guy like Jordan Bell at the 5. I think he matches up better at the 5 than both those centers. So I just don't know. There's so many different ways Memphis can go here. I don't have a great feel. The guys I have some interest in are a guy like Josh Jackson, who started the second half for Brandon Clark, played 26 minutes. His price is up. He's no longer a great value, but I think he is in play at that price. Dylan Brooks is in play. D'Anthony Melton's in play. Tyus Jones is in play. If you want to get really risky, Jordan Bell, I think he matched up the best as the center, is in play. Again, they have a lot of guys who can use. They have Conchar, Dusty Hannas, Watanabe's in play, or probably might get minutes. Marco Goodrich might get some minutes. So they still have a lot of guys who can use. That's why I don't think one play really stands out. But I think if I was making a lot of lineups, guys I would sprinkle in would be Josh Jackson, Melton, Tyus Jones, maybe even Jordan Bell, maybe even Brandon, or I think I said Dylan Brooks too. But yeah, like I said, Memphis can go a lot of different ways here. So not super confident with the minutes on those guys, and I just like the value a little bit more elsewhere. On the Houston side, got a super chat from Paulie B. Sarge is gonna be high owned. Would Rudy Gay or Lyles less owned be better? Michigan love showing some support. You rock. Thanks, man. Really do appreciate it. Sarge can be high owned. Would you prefer Rudy Gay or Trey Lyles less owned be better? I think Sarge is the safer play, and I know you usually run the single entry, right? So Rudy Gay and Lyles do have upside, but I just think Sarge is the safer option, even at higher ownership. So if it's a single entry, which I think you play the single entry, I think it's Sarge. If you're going for a more risky lineup, then between Gay and Lyles, I would probably lean towards Gay. But all right, let's get back to Houston. So I think Harden and Westbrook are going to be pretty popular here. Both are at really appealing price tags. I just don't know. I don't have a whole lot of confidence this game stays close. I'm worried about it. I am. It's an 11.5 point spread, 12-point spread now. It's moving in Houston's favor. It's a really high over-under, but Memphis is thin. They've looked bad. I don't know. I think this is where I'm going to differentiate myself from the field tonight, and I'm not going with either Harden or Westbrook. Now, if you want to go there, if you think Memphis keeps this game close, obviously both those guys are good plays. I'm just kind of banking on the fact this game doesn't stay close and they don't see the full 4 quarters of action. So that's where I'm getting different on this slate. Covington is definitely viable at 6.2. If this game stays close, he probably gets 35 minutes. So he's an okay mid-tier range, mid-tier play again. But this is not the way that I'm going in the slate. I'm kind of banking on the fact this game blows out. I don't have a whole lot of interest or a whole lot of confidence it stays close. Eric Gordon is out, but I still don't know if I want to get to House, Tucker, or McLemore, or Rivers. Don't think we have to do it. So Yeah, obviously Harden, Westbrook, and Covington are the three guys I have interest in. It's just not the way that I'm going on the slate. If you're confident Memphis keeps it close, then yeah, Harden and Westbrook do look really good spend ups. It's just I'm going a little bit different direction with this slate. So let's talk about Dallas, San Antonio. This game and the Brooklyn, Washington game are the two games I want the most exposure to. I love Luka at the top. He is going to be really chalky. I know that. I'm eating the chalk. 10.3K is just way too cheap. Don't be concerned about 25 minutes. That game was a blowout. Did not see any fourth quarter run. Yeah, I was a little bit toasted about that the other night because I had him in my lineup. And like the Dallas bench just went on like a 15-0 run to start the fourth quarter. I was just like, are you kidding me? But yeah, I love Luka here. He is my favorite spend up play at that price. Again, we're sitting at a 233.5 over under. The Spurs are only 5.5 point dogs, so Vegas does think this game stays close. I love Luka. I'll be eating the chalk. He's going to be really popular. Yeah, I'm playing him tonight. Porzingis, you can make an argument to fade Luka for GPPs if you want to pivot, but not for me for cash games, not for me for single entries. I'm playing Luka. Again, Porzingis is viable, but just because for mass multi-entering, right? Luka is going to be super popular. If you want to pivot off of a really high-owned guy, you can look to Porzingis. But again, I just prefer Luka at that price. I love him. He is my favorite spend up of the day. I'm not getting to any of the value here, though, with both those guys healthy. Now let's move on to San Antonio. So the two plays I want the most here for San Antonio are DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl. Love DeRozan with no Aldridge. His usage is insane. He probably gets 35 minutes in a close game. 7K is too cheap with no Aldridge. So I love DeRozan. He is also one of my favorite plays. Really like Jakob Poeltl too. I'd assume he starts. I guess there's an off chance they could run. I don't even know who else they could start really. Like, I guess they could move Trey Lyles to the 5 and start like Rudy Gay or something. But I'd assume Poeltl starts. If he starts, we probably get at least 20 minutes from him. He's a productive guy when he gets the time. So really like Jakob Poeltl. Again, I already talked about liking Biyombo. We'll talk about Saric here in a bit. These are the value guys I like a lot on this slate. Let's talk about the other plays here in the Spurs. So for cash games, again, these three guys are going to be in my core tonight. Luka, DeRozan, and Jakob Poeltl. But let's talk about the other guys. DeJounte Murray, I do have interest in a 5.9. He's very up and down, but the upside is massive. So he is a fringe cash game play, but definitely viable for GPPs. He's a guy that can take over. Again, there's a lot of usage to go around here. So I have interest in Murray for GPPs. Guys like White, Forbes, and Mills maybe get a little bit extra run. They're okay, but again, I would prefer Jakob Poeltl for value. Rudy Gay and Trey Lyles are the guys I'm just... They're risky options, but both have upside. These are guys, again, if you're playing cash games, I think it's DeRozan, I think it's Poeltl. If you're playing GPPs, you could look to a guy like Trey Lyles, you could look to a guy like Rudy Gay. Both should get more run with no LaMarcus Aldridge. Rudy Gay's at almost min price. We probably get 20 or so minutes from him. Lyles, your guess is as good as mine how many minutes he gets. I mean, they're very up and down with his minutes. He could play 15 to 20. He could play 30. So I do like both those guys, but more just for GPPs for me. I'm not going to get to anyone else here. So again, San Antonio, love DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl for single entry tournaments and cash games. Those are two guys I just have a lot of interest in. They're going to be chalky. I'll be eating the chalk with them. Guys like Gay and Lyles and Murray are definitely in play for GPPs as well. With no Aldridge, there's a whole lot of usage to go around. Last two games. All right. Let's talk about this game, Clippers and Phoenix. On the Clippers side, I'm going to be honest, I have no interest here. They're just such a deep team. If I was going to take a shot at one guy, it would be Paul George at 8K. Like if you're a guy that's really high on Booker and DeAndre Ayton, I don't hate that idea of running back for Paul George, but it's just they have so many bodies now. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Lou Williams, Montrez, Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, Beverly, Zubac, even like I don't think we have to go with any of these guys in the slate. It is a good matchup, but nothing stands out for me here. Kawhi at that price, I don't see the reason to play Kawhi Leonard at that when you can get to Luka Doncic for $500 more, or even Brad Beal at a similar price. Or I would definitely prefer going to Harden or Westbrook. So yeah, I don't have any interest here on the Clippers. On the Phoenix side, there's a little bit more to like here. So let's start with the no Kelly Oubre, right? He was playing huge minutes, 35 or so a game. Those minutes have to go somewhere. I think they go directly to Dario Saric, and they go to Cameron Johnson. Now, Saric is going to start. He's at 3.2K. I think we probably get, my best guess, 25 to 30 minutes from him. If that's the case, he does stand out as a really solid value play. Again, it's him, it's Biyombo, it's Jakob Poeltl as the really cheap options that I would probably play 2 of those guys. You could even you could play all 3 if you really want to. But yeah, I have a good amount of interest in Saric. As a pivot, you can look to Cameron Johnson for GPPs. He's not starting, but his minutes will go up. He probably gets 25 to 30 as well, maybe a little bit more. So those are the 2 guys I have interest in as cheap options. Again, Saric for cash. You can make an argument for Cam Johnson for GPPs as a pivot. I don't think I get to Diallo. He's been basically out of the rotation. Baines, I don't really think they run him alongside DeAndre Ayton, so I don't think I get to him either. Bridges is a guy that was already playing some good minutes, but his minutes probably go up a little bit more. I would still prefer getting to Saric, though, for like $1,000 less. Rubio's been playing really well, but it just makes it tricky for me to get to him in this slate, maybe only for a late slate for me. And then Booker and Ayton I do have interest in for GPPs. If Phoenix is going to keep this game close, we probably see a big game from one or both those guys. So that's why I think they both are viable. Kelly Oubre, a somewhat high usage guy out of the offense, playing big minutes. So Ayton and Booker are going to have to do more. Booker's under 8K, Ayton at 8.1. These are guys that I do like for GPPs. I don't know if I get there for cash games, though. All right, that does it for Phoenix. Last game here will be pretty quick. I have very, very little interest in this one, Boston and Utah. It's just an ugly game all around. Even with Kemba Walker out, I don't like a lot here. 218 over under. Tatum's priced up to 9K, 8.8. Hayward, Brown, and Smart are all like priced accordingly. But against Utah, Gordon Hayward revenge game. If you're into revenge narratives, okay. But there's just a lot of spots I like a lot better than this game. So I'm going to be honest, I'm just crossing this game off. I have no interest here in Boston. On the Utah side, kind of the same thing. I have no interest. They were going back and forth with the starting lineup today with Conley in, Conley out, Royce O'Neal in, Royce O'Neal out. Doesn't matter. There's just much better value, in my opinion, with the guys I've already stated. So in a tough spot here, both teams are good defensively. I'm not getting to anyone here. I think you really can just cross this game out and make it an 8-game slate. All right, let me check news one more time, then we'll go with the cash game core, and then we can get to questions at the end. Nothing still on Bam and Adebayo. Again, that does change the slate, but all right, let me give you guys my cash game core. I think we got to start with Luka, right? He is just way, way too cheap at 10.3. Love Luka Doncic. Got to go to Rosen too, with no LaMarcus Aldridge. He really stands out at that price. And then we get to the 3 value plays with Jakob Poeltl, Biyombo, and Saric. I'll put all 3 in there. You don't have to play all 3. I think you play at least 2 of these 3 guys. Here, let's go to Jakob. This is for cash games, right? So Jakob Poeltl, Biyombo, and Dario Saric. I think you play at least 2 of those guys. You can play all 3 if you want to. Again, I think that is viable. But I would play 2 of those 3 guys with Saric, Poeltl, and Biyombo. This is for cash games. Now, again, for GPPs, there are a couple appealing centers. Like in the mid-range, you have Jared Allen, whose minutes are always up and down, but he has upside in a really good spot. You have Tristan Thompson with no Andre Drummond. He probably gets 30-plus minutes if he stays out of foul trouble. There's a couple spend-up centers, right, with like Embiid, Vucevic, even DeAndre Ayton. But this is cash games we're talking about. So you take the value here for cash and you move on. So those 3 value guys, I probably would play at least 2 of those guys. Pair them with Luka, pair them with DeRozan. I think that's a good way to start your cash game lineup. All right, let's get to some questions here. Let me refresh this one more time. And then we got about 15 minutes until lock. Let's see. All right. Hayward lock. Not really a big fan of that last game. I was one of the 50% of dumbasses who ate the trash talk last night. Monk was balling for like 2 weeks and finally got the start. Can't believe he shit the bed like that. That game was a blowout. So none of the Charlotte guys played any fourth quarter run. Poeltl going to be 50% owned in GPP. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like if you don't want to play Jakob Poeltl, I don't think he's a must play. You could just go to Biyombo and Saric then if you don't want to go Poeltl. I'm rolling with Luka, Booker, DeRozan, Saric, Poeltl, Harden, Lyles, and Biyombo. Fine with that. 50% like 80 LOL. Do you think Poeltl's going to be 80% owned? I think he will be high owned. I think he'll be above 50. I don't know if he gets to 80 though. Minutes for Bruno Fernando, probably about 20 or so. I prefer the other value. Damian Jones, don't think we have to do that. Minutes for JV, up in the air. I have no idea with Memphis, honestly. Jordan Bell, Jeff Green. I would rather take a shot on Jordan Bell and hope he gets the minutes. Hayward or Jaylen Brown. Hayward for revenge. I'm going D'Angelo Russell, Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, Tobias, Jakob Poeltl, Trae Young, Mikal Bridges, and Bismack Biyombo. A little bit more contrarian, but that's okay. So we have news and Bam, not yet. Doncic, Booker, DeRozan, Jackson, Poeltl, Richardson, Tatum, and Biyombo. Perfectly fine with me. Bam, probably doubtful. I haven't seen that yet. 4,200 utility, have Melton. I mean, that's a little bit difficult of a price range. I like a lot of the really cheap value. So, like that range, I'm not really getting to. But let's see, 4,200. You have Melton. Yeah, see this range of guys, I'm not really excited about at all. I would probably just go Derek White there, but don't really feel great about it. Rubio. Let's see, Rubio, Horford, Dinwiddie, O'Neal. Give me Dinwiddie, O'Neal there, even though I'm not really a big fan of Royce. I think Rozier drops 40, DK at low ownership. He sucked. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be super, super low owned. If that's your gut play, go with it. Murray, Beal, LeVert, or Dinwiddie, DeRozan, Jimmy Butler for GBP. Give me the first there. Trae or Westbrook. For cash games, Westbrook. For GBPs, Trae. Paulie B, another $5 super chat. Thank you, man. Napier or Terrence Ross or Temple. Thanks, buddy, Michigan Love. Okay, so I would go Shabazz Napier there. I like his upside as a starter. I think he probably gets 28 to 30 minutes. I have a lot of interest in that game. Terrence Ross, I'm not super excited about. Temple, I mean, probably gets a little bit more minutes, but I really like Napier. I think you go Napier there. My lineup is set for Bam being out. Okay. Let's see. Luka, DeRozan, Beal, Jackson, Poeltl, Napier, LeVert, Biyombo. Yep, I like that a lot. Let's see. Do you hate Memphis and Charlotte like I do? Yes, they're two teams I hate seeing on the slate. Do you like LeVert? I like LeVert a good amount. I like that first game a lot. Booker, Butler, Bam is out. Butler, but it's close. Lyles and Cash, okay. I just never know with his minutes, so that's why I'm really concerned. Tatum or Collins? Not really big fan of either. I'll go Collins, I guess. Let's see. Bam is starting. Oh, did we get that news? Let's see. Yeah, Bam will start. Let's see. I'm going Booker, shooting guard, and Tatum forward for single entry. Okay, I have Doncic, Napier, LeVert, Saric, Poeltl, Beal, DeRozan, and Biyombo. Yep, very, very similar to mine. O'Neal, Saric, or Lyles. I think I go Saric there. I have Dinwiddie, Brooks, Gay, Love. I have Dinwiddie, Brooks, Gay, Love, Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, PJ Washington, and Ian Mahimi. Not super excited about Mahimi there. I like the other value a bit more. Donovan Mitchell, again, I'm not really high in that Boston game. PJ Washington, or even Kevin Love. Rozier. Let's see. Rozier said he wanted to be a Knick. He gets up for them. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. If you like the upside of Rozier, go for it. That's your play. Bam in. Yeah. So with Bam in, there's a decent chance that game blows out. I don't have a whole lot of interest in Miami now. Must plays for today's guys. Oh wait. Bam's playing. Matthew, that's good. Bam's in. How do you feel about Rudy Gay with Aldridge out? Any uptick? Yes, he probably gets at least 20 minutes. He's a viable punt option. I prefer Jakob Poeltl for safety, but Gay is in play. Bam is like the football player that never wants to miss a game. Best forward at 5,100 or lower. Let's see. Forward 5,100. See, there's honestly not a lot. There's like nothing I like here. I would go Taurean Prince there and leave some money on the table. That's probably the way I would go about it. Doncic, Dinwiddie, Beal, DeRozan, Brown, Jackson, Tatum, Sarge, Poeltl. Again, that's very, very similar to mine. Olynyk too. Yeah, I'm off Olynyk. If Rubio could put up 62 Utah, I definitely have some Celtics. Fair enough. if you like Boston, go for it. If that's what you like, not me the way that I go though. More fantasy points, Murray or Pirtle. Um, we're talking about Dejounte Murray, right? It's going to be most likely Dejounte Murray, but he's also way more expensive. Um, let's see. More fantasy point. Oh yeah, okay. Let's see. Doncic, Booker, DeRozan, Sarge, Pirtle, Levert, Aaron Gordon, Biombo. I like that. Aaron, I said I have Rubio will go off against Jazz that day, but I'm actually not playing him tonight. Jaylen Brown price is still too cheap. I just don't like that game. That Boston Utah game is just ugly to me. Gordon, Booker, Randall. Um, Gordon for me, but it's close between him and Booker. Levert or DeRozan. DeRozan for cash for sure. Levert, I like for GBPs. If they both start, who do you like more, Sarge or Josh Jackson? Josh Jackson. Um, I think it's Sarge for cash games. I still have some interest in Josh Jackson for sure, but there's so many. Like, I just don't know what Memphis is going to do, to be honest. I think Josh Jackson has upside, but Sarge is a safer play. Um, who do you play in that utility spot if you have 6K left over? Okay, so let's see. 6K utility. I will tell you. I think I would take a shot on Dejounte Murray with no Aldridge. I know he is a little bit up and down, but he is the guy that has the most upside there in that group. So I think I'll go Dejounte Murray. Jaylen Brown or Tobias Harris, salary doesn't matter. Give me Tobias. What about Love with Drummond out? They still have Nance, though. I know he got like 30, high 30s minutes, so the game went to overtime. Not for me, really. Doncic, Booker, DeRozan, Sarge, Pirtle, Levert, Aaron Gordon, and Biombo. Yep, again, very similar to mine. I got 7.8K left over for forward. Who do you love there? 7.8K for forward. I assume it's probably going to be Levert for me. Let's see. It's either Aaron Gordon or Levert. I think that's basically a toss-up. It's whatever's easier to fit in your lineup. I like both those guys a good amount. Joel Embiid, big points versus weak Cleveland bigs tonight. Definitely possible. There's a lot of good cheap bigs. That's why he's more of a GBP play for me. I see starting lineup with Bam playing it. Bam's playing as a Linux still in play. Not for me with Bam playing. Aaron Rubio, though, he has really turned up the last 3 games, slumping. What would you put in your utility spot if you have 6K? I think I just answered that, right? Yeah. Dinwiddie or Booker? Also really close. I'm going to go Dinwiddie because that's the way I'm going in the slate, but Booker does have a lot of upside, especially with no Kelly Oubre. So I'll go Dinwiddie, but that's really close. Prince or Josh Jackson? Also really close. I think Taurean Prince probably gets more minutes. So if you're looking for safety, it's probably Taurean Prince. Now, Josh Jackson could play 33 minutes. He could play 20, right? So I think Prince for safety, Josh Jackson if you want to get risky for GPPs. 5,100 utility play. Let's see. 5,100. Not a whole lot I like here. Like, you can look to Kyle Anderson at that price, but I think I would still prefer getting to probably say going all the way down to Taurean Prince there with no Wilson Chandler. He probably gets 30 or so minutes, but really, like I'm not really confident in this price range at all. Not really the way that I'm looking at the slate. So there's just not a whole lot I'm really comfortable there. Plus Rubio's up to 6,900. Let's get it, fellas. Yeah, I might not go big on Rubio tonight. I got Embiid and Doncic in. Yeah, Embiid's going to be pretty low owned, but I like his upside. Bam is starting. Yep. Melton or Dylan Brooks. Again, I don't have a good feel on that Memphis team. So Dylan Brooks is, I guess, the safer option because he probably gets more minutes. But really, like, Memphis is just a team that I think you just take shots on guys. I don't really have I'm not really confident in any one player. Uh, Fournier something or Booker Gordon. I guess Booker Gordon there. I don't know who you're talking about. Your second player, Young and Biyombo or Tatum and Napier. I'll go Young and Biyombo there. Shabazz or Josh Jackson. I think it's Shabazz for me, but I guess Josh Jackson would be my favorite Memphis play. It's just, again, his minutes a little bit up in the air. Trey Lyles, I do like him. I do like Rudy Gay for GPPs. Again, I think Jakob Poeltl is the cash play, though. Thoughts on my lineup: Luka, Dinwiddie, DeRozan, LeVert, Harris, Jackson, Allen, Saric, and Embiid. Yep. Again, you're getting a little bit constrained, but you're also playing some of the chalk. I think that's a really solid lineup. Let's see. We got any more news? And we do know Bam is playing. I mean, Olynyk is still starting, but I don't know. At his price, I don't think I get to him. You don't like Hayward tonight? I'm just not really a big fan of that Boston Utah game. Hayward is a revenge spot. If you're big into revenge narratives, that's fine. I don't know. Maybe I should have a little bit more interest than I do, but it's kind of a cross-off for me. I'm not super excited about that. Any interest in Jarrett Allen? Yes, for GPPs. I like him a lot. It's just, does he get the minutes or do they give more to DeAndre or Jordan? Right, that's a concern. But Jarrett Allen does have good upside. Him and Tristan Thompson in that mid-tier for center plays, I like a lot for GPPs. Fultz or Morant? I would probably... Not really big on either. Ja's been terrible, so you are getting a buy low on him. He's 7.1, though. Whereas Fultz is what? Fultz is 5.9. I'll go Fultz there. Probably Fultz. Yeah, I think I would go Fultz. Beal and Biyombo or Westbrook and Saric. I'll go Beal and Biyombo there. Also, it's close, but again, that's the way I'm going. I'm confident the Brooklyn Washington game should stay close. Right? It's a 2-point spread. It's a 234 over under. Whereas Houston and Memphis is now a 12.5-point spread. So you're seeing a lot of people just keep betting. Houston keeps getting bet up. Right? So people are confident Houston covers that spread. I think there's a decent chance Westbrook and Harden don't play the full 4 quarters of action. And that's why these are the 2 games I like the most. Dallas, San Antonio, and Brooklyn and Washington. All right, we are at lock, though. White took over, made it close. Unfortunately for me, I played Gafford. He picked up 3 fouls in the first 3 or 4 minutes. Did not play at all for the rest of the first half, so that was super tilting. He only played 14 minutes, was solid in that time, but again, the foul trouble bit me. Here's my single entry GPP build. Trey at home. Again, always Trey for GPPs. Shabazz, McLemore can go thrift shopping. Yeah, he's low owned. He probably will get a little bit more run with no Eric Gordon. I'm okay there. Aaron Gordon, Poeltl, Luka, DeRozan, and Willie Hernangomez. Perfect, right? You're taking some shots on some guys. Hernangomez over Biyombo is always viable for GPPs. He should get probably at least 20 minutes, Hernangomez. And he's the better offensive player. I think Biyombo is the play for cash, but I do like the pivot there for GPPs. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid lineup. Going to be Beal, Biyombo, Saric, hard to trust. I want Doncic, DeRozan, LeVert, Saric, Biyombo, Booker, Aaron Gordon, Poeltl. Again, very, very similar to mine. So did I. He was great value. 18% Embiid. Just kills me every time. Yeah, Embiid, low owned. Perfectly fine with that. I like the cheaper value for cash games. Let's talk about the $40 single entry and some ownership here. So I'm liking what I see, at least for my lineup. I have Biyombo 43% owned, Beal 17%, Shabazz 22%, and Levert 13%. So what that tells me, all those guys that broke in a Washington game are low owned. That tells me Harden or Westbrook are going to be really chalky. Because I'm trying to think what else could be high owned for spend ups. Obviously Luka is going to be the chalk. Let's see what Embiid's ownership is. Again, Tobias 8%, Richardson 15%, Horford 15%, Rozier 3%, Torian Prince 11%. I can't find Embiid. Someone said he was 18% owned in another tournament. I mean, I assume that's what he's going to be around here in this one. Yeah, I'm not finding it. So that leads me to believe with all these guys in this game being low owned, I like that a lot. Again, that's the way I went. That means that Luka is going to be the absolute chalk. I think probably Westbrook or Harden are going to be very, very high owned. Because I don't think a lot of people, at least for cash games, people aren't going to go here. The Clippers-Phoenix game, I don't think people go there for cash games. Again, obviously Luka, DeRozan are going to be super popular. But who else are people going to spend up on, right? I mean, Trey, more of a GPP play. I guess Aaron Gordon or Vucevic, but I really think that means that Harden and Westbrook are both going to be pretty popular. And that's the way I'm differentiating myself. I'm getting away from that. I went with this Brooklyn-Washington game. I like the ownership there. We'll see how it goes. Hoping for that Houston blowout, but all right. Gafford, yeah. Yawn face, definitely. Good luck, everyone. Hope you all cash out. Dinwiddie, Napier, Levert, Prince, Pirtle, Beal, DeRozan, and Allen. House or Gay? House is more expensive. If you can get to House, I don't know. I like Gay as a GPP option, so I'll go Gay. Dinwiddie, 8%, $44 single entry. Biyombo, 30. Shabazz, 13.55. Beal, 14.19. Again, Paulie, we were on the same track there. We have the same four guys. 116 viewers, 19 likes. Let's dial that up. Yeah, again, if you guys appreciate the content, or if you guys like the content, would appreciate if you hit that thumbs up button. Brooklyn Wash is low owned. Wow, laugh my ass off. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I mean, that's where I'm planting my flag tonight. I like that game a lot. Hoping for the Houston blowout, and yeah, let's see. Let's win this money. Embiid, Biyombo, Beal stack for all the money. Let's freaking go. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like Embiid's upside there. Thanks for all you do, DK. Of course, man. Let's see if we got any more news, and then I can hop out of here. I'll try to keep you guys updated on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, that is important to do so. It's in the description below. Yeah, again, Thompson starting. I mean, the two centers I like for GPPs, Thompson and Allen in that mid-tier range. Embiid, 14% of FanDuel. Let's go. Biyombo, 3% in my tournament on FanDuel. Well, I guess you can only play one center on FanDuel, so probably everyone's going to Jakob Poeltl then, right? I assume Jakob Poeltl's a center on FanDuel. A pretty crazy Napier, only 18% in the $4. Yeah, I mean, I like Napier. I don't really think it's chasing with that. He had a big game last time out, but I think it's just the minutes with him, right? So let's just talk about Napier really quick before I get out of here and the reason why I liked him. Obviously, him starting is big. That's big. But just look what he did when, let's go to Washington. Let's go to Shabazz. When he was coming out the bench, he was productive, right? 19 minutes, 21 fancy points. 19 minutes, 16 fancy points. 18 minutes, 18 fancy points. 17 minutes, 14 fancy points. So he's basically almost a point per minute guy. If we can project him for about 30 minutes, that's about 30 fancy points. And 4.7K, I think that's a little bit underpriced. So that's the reason I like Shabazz. Let's see. Thank you, DK. Of course, man. Got Dinwiddie 6% in my $27 GPP. I like that. You the man, DK. You live in Chicago. You live in Chicago? I am in Chicago. Yep. I think Booker going to be chalk. Do you think Booker's going to be chalk? I guess there's a possibility Booker could be chalk with no Kelly Oubre. There is a possibility I could see Booker eating up some ownership. There's a decent chance that game blows out too with the Clippers being fully healthy. DK, we got to do a live sweat if you're not busy. Let's see. Ooh, winning MLB opening day text from spring training last minute. Nice, man. A Kawhi Leonard go off, nobody notching him. Yeah, no one's playing Kawhi Leonard. I agree. No one. That's only someone I would consider for the late slate. We gotta do live sweat. Yeah, definitely, man. All right. I think I'm gonna hop out of here. Good luck tonight, guys. Hope you all win some money, and I will be back for Thursday. I'm gonna have a video up for that slate later tonight. Also, XFL. Not going to do the podcast this week, but I will have a video up for Week 4's breakdown probably tomorrow. XFL has been really good the last couple of weeks, so if you guys are interested in that, that should be up tomorrow night. Wonder if Covington is decent tonight. Again, it's all about whether Memphis keeps it close. Covington, Harden, and Westbrook, all guys I like. That's not the way that I'm going on the slate. I'm hoping for the blowout. Ayton going to ball in the Oubre. Definitely have some interest in Ayton as a GPP play. But again, those are just the cheap value centers that I really like today for cash. All right. Good luck, everyone. Hope you guys all have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.